What is good in the neighborhood? It's your bestie, that millennial core friend, and today I want to talk about gratitude for the things that I have, that we have, and then I want to get into dreams. I want to get into the things that feel so far out of reach. They feel like they're impossible. But as we've witnessed over our lifetimes, even as individuals, so much that we thought was impossible or wasn't real, quote unquote, has come to fruition, has happened, has transpired. All right. I won't get into it because I want to focus on positives only and this reading. But think about what you're grateful for, and then we'll move into thinking about dreams and goals and desires and things like that. And it could be anything at all. Big, small, medium, things that are tangible, intangible. Yeah, let's get into it. And I'm going to be pulling some cards. I'm going to be chatting a bit, and then I will flip over the cards and reveal them. We're going to do this as a collective reading. So those tuning in are ideally and theoretically those on my wavelength. Possible soul tribe. And if you stick through most of it or all of it, then the reading was probably for you. Maybe there was a cookie crumb, breadcrumb, or some kind of magical, mystical moment, epiphany in here for you. And so thank you for continuing to watch. And I can be really sloppy with time with my ADHD, so I'm going to try to be efficient. Oops. All right. Hopefully I can do minimal background noise as well. We're really trying a lot of firsts here. So I'm grateful for, whoa, so many cards came out. Okay, I don't know if I want to do it. Should I just take these cards? They're really great cards. Okay, I'm going to put them back, but we got Janelle Monáe for fluidity. SZA with passion, and Salt and Pepper with sexuality. I'm gonna put them back though. These were rogue cards. Okay, I know some people will use their jumpers, but not all cards are sometimes, it's rogue. Like I have a specific spread I want to do, so hopefully I get to do that. And the spread will be where we are, kind of like past, not quite past, present, future, but in that realm of a 3 cards or 3 pile spread. It'll be multiple decks, multiple cards, and each one pile will be where we are, where we find ourselves right now. The next will be where we're going. Not necessarily final destination, but what we're currently on the track towards, what is in possible near future, somewhat medium distant future, things that we're currently like manifesting. And then the last pile will be, how do we get there? What do we do? What do we change? How do we make that happen? How do we get closer to that? How do we embody that? And yeah, I came up with that on my own. Maybe other people have done similar spreads, but I haven't been doing readings and working with cards for that long compared to some other folks. So it's been nice to kind of just try to use my intuition and go my own route with things. Okay, so these cards are a little much and I have tiny hands. I'm just gonna cut the decks. So I'm grateful for my cat. I love my cat so much. She's super cuddly and sweet and affectionate and kind of clingy, exactly what I needed in an emotional support companion. I'm thankful to have a roof over my head, access to clean water, access to food. I'm thankful for my community of friends, peers, colleagues who continue to support me in many ways. I'm thankful for the clothes on my back, the shoes on my feet. I'm thankful for my family, the people I talk to, the people I don't talk to. You know, bad blood out the window. Like, I don't have time or energy to hold grudges or feel some type of way anymore, because I would not be who I am today if people didn't raise me or treat me the way they did. Like, I used to be really annoyed with, like, when other people called me resilient. But when you think about yourself as resilient, like, it hits a little different, right? Like, if you think, like, man, you know, I did go through all of that, and, you know, things were tough, and I had to figure out a lot of things on my own, trial and error, which is usually what life is. But some of us have, like, very precarious hands dealt to us. And those can knock us off kilter. Make us off kilter, throw us off track. All right, there's so much I'm grateful for. Grateful to be alive, grateful to live where I live, to have access to things of all kinds that not everyone does, locally, nationally, and grateful to be here. And grateful to you watching in the ethers. Okay, ran out of storage, but we're back. All right, getting back into it, resuming. All right, so what are our dreams? What are our goals? What do we desire? I want to trip and fall madly in love. I want to get my heart broken. Or maybe not, but, you know, to experience that, it's just part of being human. You know, so I have real FOMO. And dreams, I would love to be on SNL. I would love to have my own web series or show on TV, like a reality show, kind of like the style of My Life is Liz on MTV from years ago. If you are old enough to know that show and watched it. Gosh, what else? I want to eventually have my own place that's just meets all my wishes and hopes wants and access needs. I would like and hope that all my friends who are in need get the support that they need so that they can experience more abundance in new ways. I'm like trying to write this musical. I don't know if it's a good idea, bad idea, weird idea, but I hope something turns out from that, or comes, even if it's not like this iteration, maybe like the second musical I write will be have rave reviews or be received by people, or even be able to just share with other people. Did I already say radio DJ? Because I miss doing that. I did that in college, and I really enjoyed that. What are some of your dreams? What are some of your goals? Financial stability and security. Like, I hate capitalism as much as the next guy, but child, I need like, the financial wellness needs to catch up with the abundance in every other aspect of my life. You know, do you feel that way? Or maybe money is good with you. And then if that's the case, then I'm glad, especially if it wasn't always, because then that hits different. Yeah. Where we're at, where we're going, how to get there. And now I'm working on my last pile of cards. So go ahead and connect with your guides, your spirit team, if you have any that you tap into or like to use for any readings, energetic cards, no cards, otherwise divination. So we're all getting the messages from all the piles, from all the cards. It's not pick a card, but if something doesn't resonate with you, then maybe that's just not the message for you. But maybe other messages are here for you. So stick around if you want. All right, where we're at, where we're going, how the heck do we get there? All right. Beep, beep, beep. Okay, where we're at. So we're thinking about dreams, goals, desires, and then gratitude. Almost being like grateful for things that we don't even have yet, but grateful for even just like being able to imagine having them. We have Erykah Badu with spirituality. So tap in, tune in, listen to your gut, listen to your spleen. Yeah, figure out like if you don't already have a spiritual practice, and I'm also one for like not committing to necessarily one thing, and I really need room for like flow. So my spiritual practice goes from everything from like when I finally wash the dishes, when I shower, when I'm just spending time with my cat, when I am kind of procrastinating or lost in time and time is passing by, but I may not be listening to anything or watching anything. And I'm usually like using escapism very often, right? So when I'm not in the thrills and chokehold of escapism or worldly things, there are these pockets and these moments of little bliss and moments where I feel like it can be like an activity, something that I'm actively doing, whether it's praying, meditation, dancing, singing, yoga, reading, doing cards, and then there are just times you're just like walking down the street, rolling on by like nature, grounding and earthing, and all these different ways to connect with something greater than, more than. And it doesn't have to be this super profound, like fancy way. And it doesn't have to be like how everyone else does it. You don't have to do things regimented to be like considered good enough, spiritual enough. It's really what you make it. And that's what I love about spirituality as opposed to religion. Religion is really strict. Religion has like rules. It has rituals that can be really beautiful, that I do admire across different faiths, but I'm really more in tune with spirituality, like one's own personal relationship with the divine, and however they experience divinity in their everyday life. And there's some people that I feel like don't necessarily get to experience authentic spirituality because of whatever circumstances or places they find themselves in. But Erykah Badu is a badass, so we love getting her. I don't think I've ever pulled her in this deck. So I love that we got her. Creative, spiritual, but also a baddie at the same time, right? We have Britney Spears, the goddess. And she's pregnant here. And this is, of course, like a fertility card that gives us Empress energy, if you're familiar with tarot. There's like creativity brewing. The juices are brewing. The imagination is stirring. Your ideas are there. We have these great ideas, but are we acting on them? Are we taking a chance on ourselves ever? Maybe we're too like kind of like scaredy cat to take a chance on ourselves, and to put ourselves out there. I would love to share more on the internet, but I get really shy and self-conscious, and then I end up not doing things, or I end up kind of feeling like I have an idea but I can't execute it with technology, or because I don't know how an app works. But I have the tools to just get on a camera and just start talking and just start doing things, and talking about what I like, what I'm passionate about, and sharing things with people. And so me personally, like, I am telling you what I need to hear as well. Nurturance and self-care, flexibility within structure. Wow. That's card 3. So it's interesting that we got Goddess and 3. 3 is the Empress in tarot. And flexibility within structure, nurturance, and self-care. That goes hand in hand with spirituality. And when I was talking about how I like to go with the flow and not have this rigidity, this dogma on me, so I get to just experience and, you know, kind of go through the journey of figuring out, of, you know, effing around and finding out for my own, not just believing what other people believe just to believe. But really being like, but what is there? What is there? What is more? I know there's more. What is it? And how do I connect? And what do I truly believe in? Right? Which I feel like that's all adulthood is like all about. Like, what do you actually believe in? What are your actual values, and not just how you were raised and kind of what you had to do, what you had to follow. But now you're your own person. Now you have to kind of like rewind, unlearn everything, scratch the surface blank, and then start over. Baby brain. Um, Beginner's mind. That's what we want. That's what we want. Beginner's mind. Seven of Cups. We've got lots of ideas. Almost too many ideas. Pointing at myself. We've got so many ideas, so many lanes you could choose from. Like, I'm a multidisciplinary artist, so I do performance art, I do dance, I do theater, I do painting, I do multimedia installations. I like doing tarot, oracle cards, divination, spiritual things. I teach sometimes a variety of things. I'm an intimacy coordinator. Those are the things that are established. And then there are so many things that I would rather be doing or wish would take off and be my main source of income, or things that I think are just big dreams and they're too big for me or too big to come true. But, a lot of the advice people will give, which I'm also giving because it's important, is right, taking that chance on yourself and going with it. But I think there's like I know I can get caught up in the confusion and the swirling of, oh, but I have all these like projects started and nothing is getting finished, or I have all these ideas and I don't know which one to start first or which one to continue trying and figuring out until I maybe move on to something else. So just take that leap of faith, trust in your intuition, or turn to your spiritual practice and use that to help you make decisions. We have sensitivity, the jellyfish, and that's about like being sensitive in like an empathic way, sensitive to the divine and the quantum, and being open to receive. Yeah, being open to receive. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at right now. Like the foundation is there. We have the ideas. We have this innate spirituality where the divine has got our back. The divine has our best interests in heart and at soul's core. So like, where are we going from here? Wow, we have Missy Elliott with innovation. Kid you not. Kid you not. Missy Elliott. When I was growing up, like, Missy Elliott was huge. And I can't imagine if I was like at the age to be like dancing in a club when Missy Elliott was first coming out. And when a lot of her hit records came out, just like so dancey, but also like her music videos. If you've never seen a Missy Elliott music video, they're wild. Like, truly performance art. Like, the creative direction is out of control. So beautiful, so meticulous, so intense. And choreography, when there's choreography, it's great. A lot of storytelling. But innovation is great to get. So we're talking about where we're at, where we're going, and how to get there. And we're talking about this in terms of goals, dreams, aspirations. And so we have the ideas in pile one, right? Where we currently are. We have the ideas, but we're like, oh, do I go this way? Do I go that way? I'm not sure. But there's also, like, with the spirituality card, having faith in yourself, because you are one of one and you have unique ideas. You just have to start sharing them. I've heard this before, and now that I'm saying it out loud to myself, I'm like, why don't I, like, when I hear it, it sounds good. And when I say it, it also sounds good. And yet I don't do it because I still keep getting stumped in that Seven of Cups energy. But I'm gonna take the leap of faith. And this is me taking that leap of faith right now. We'll see if I can keep it up. We have the Seeker with Britney Spears as a little fairy. This speaks to spiritual seeking and, like, seeking beyond, seeking not just the capital T truth, but, like, finding one's own magic and having an infinite mindset. A mindset that's has no bounds, boundless, right? Nurturance and self-care again. We have perfection versus imperfection. Card 5. 5 is number of change. Change, yes, change. So it's interesting to get perfection versus imperfection, because as a creative, as an entrepreneur, as just any person, no matter what it is, that any dreams, goals, aspirations you have, even if it's getting a retail job, like, I don't care what your dreams and goals are. Maybe it's just to get to the next week. To feel a little better tomorrow than you do today. I feel like I know I can get caught up in things not being perfect or myself not being perfect, so then I won't even bother doing things, or I'll get so flustered with, like, oh, I want my apartment to be cleaner, and if my space is cluttered, then my mind is cluttered, but then my mind is already cluttered, and then I'm getting flustered, and then eventually I just have to, like, escape into my comfort shows and binge watch TV for like 10 hours straight. Like, I get really caught up, and a lot of my creative projects are on pause because I'm, like, waiting for a perfect moment, waiting for things to fall into place, when I could be taking a lot of the free time that I have, or even some of the free time that I have, but I have a lot of free time, and, you know, engaging with my art as a hobby, as a pastime. You know, it doesn't have to be always, like, for money or career. And maybe you can relate to that, whether you're an artist or otherwise a different vocation. But I feel like the perfection versus imperfection can apply in many cases, and I feel like it's important for us to watch negative self-talk and doubts, because, like, we're the innovator, right? We're Missy Elliott. What are you worrying for? Why are we getting caught up and tripping up on, like, the matrix of what, like, mainstream is feeding us, and comparing ourselves to that, you know? Screw the zeitgeist. Screw the status quo. We're our own people, our own. You're your own person. I'm my own person. And then beyond that, we're souls at the end of the day. Like, these are just avatars. You know, this is just one iteration of a life we'll live, right? We have 3 of Cups. And that's community, celebration. Also, more creativity. So maybe you want to lean on your support system to help you reach your desires and your goals. Maybe it's the only way to fruitfully, effectively, and swiftly do so. Maybe it's the best way to, the most comforting way to, the most pleasurable way to. But we're not alone. We don't have to be alone in anything, right? Individualism is a lie, right? So if we think from a collectivism standpoint, and an abolitionist standpoint, a care work standpoint, we want to be there for each other, and we want to help each other thrive. And there's these, I might butcher this, they're like the 4 rules. I think it's 4 or 5. Is it 5? The rules of karma, where it's like recognize what you want, find someone who also wants something, help that person get the thing, and then feel good about it. And then, like, that is more important, focusing on that process, than whether you end up getting the thing you wanted at the end, after all of that, right? But not doing things like because we want something in return, like tangibly or in a materialistic way. But what we'll get in return is gratitude, appreciation, compassion, grace, loving kindness, and also excitement and joy for another person is really great too. And inspiration and hope, because if it can happen for them, it can happen for you. And they were able to lean on you, you helped them, and then same thing can happen with folks in your corner, right? Can't make this up. We got spiritual. So we got spirituality in the first deck and in the second deck. So where we're at, we had spirituality. Where we're going also had spiritual. So there is this integration between our spirituality, our spiritual practice, our spiritual wellness, and our dreams, goals, desires, needs, wants, aspirations, all that good stuff. How fun. Okay, am I gonna butcher this artist's name? I believe it's Lake Kelly 47 with Mystery. I believe the only song I know for this artist is Girl Blunt. I'm gonna look her up in the book real quick. Mystery, secrecy, hidden feelings withdrawn, uncovering the truth. So she is known for wearing ski masks and full covering bandanas. So instead of staring at her, you're forced to listen to her words. We wear masks of all kinds for safety measures, for costumes, and transforming into someone else for a night, as facial treatments, and of course as invisible shields, concealing parts of ourselves we want no one to know. The brave face is always the hardest mask to wear, but you're doing it. Sooner or later, the mask will have to come off. Are you ready for what's underneath? So this is how to get there pile. So how to get there is like being strategic, being really strategic about who you share your ideas with and desires with. Because some people will be on your team in your corner, and some people will not be. But then also you want to keep like an element of surprise. And there's also, of course, the notion of masking and whether we are our authentic selves or are able to be open and messy and chaotic or neurodivergent or whatever else we may be. We have the Princess of Pop. I mean, we previously got innovation with Missy Elliott, and the Princess of Pop, Britney Spears as Princess of Pop, is very much that, right? Like, she kind of ushered in this new era of pop star, from being little and performing to like, boom, she hit this peak when she was just like at her prime, her first prime, before all the dramatic breakdowns and troubles she's faced and come back from. She's had high moments there before, but Princess of Pop doesn't get any stronger than that. And so with this card, I'm imagining us like truly embodying that, you know, we are that person, we are that artist, we are that creative, we are in charge, we are that boss, we are that baddie, we are who we want to be, and start acting like it. Like, we don't have to wait for the accolades to come in to pat ourselves on the back and say and know that we did a good job, or to be grateful, or to reach our dreams, or to even just start experimenting with what we want and desire and how we might reach that. We have fertility and creativity with card 9, regroup. So this was in the pile of how to get there. So this is a pretty clear card talking about, okay, we'll regroup. Go back to your 7 of Cups. You got 7 of them, right? Regroup, reset, and be like, and just think. Take the time to think, and take the time to not just feel pressure to go ahead and birth something new and just put it out there, but being strategic about, well, what is it that I truly want? Is that what I want, or do I want something else that may be adjacent to that, or maybe that's the surface level of what society wants me to have, but what I want is something greater and deeper or less tangible. So regrouping, this person is also kind of like almost like in a cocoon chrysalis of this silvery body paint. But kind of in this, like, feeling the swirls of creativity kind of blossom. And this isn't necessarily for artists only, but we all can be and inhabit creativity in some way. Like, you can get creative with how you do your chores, right? You can get creative with how you reach your goals. You can get creative with date night ideas, right? Like, there's so many ways we can be creative with surprise gifts, with costumes for your kids for Halloween. Like, there's so many ways we can be creative, right? Not only artists are creative. We have, ooh, dun dun dun, card 13, Death Rebirth. But what I love about this deck is that it is, to me, a more accurate representation of the Death card. I have a Death card tattoo that is eerily, you know, kind of like Grim Reaper-y, shadow creature doing their thing. But what I love is that this person, like, the rebirth is already happening. And what I love is that there's this infinity sign between death and rebirth, because they're almost simultaneous. We have 13, adding that together, that's 4. 4 is number for spiritual protection as well. But we have kind of like we can already see the light at the end of the tunnel, but we, just like with the regroup card too, like, regroup and drop what no longer serves you, because that's what it's gonna take. That's what it's going to take to get to Missy Elliott. That's what it's going to take to get here, to really feel fully in our power, in ourselves. We must let go of what no longer serves us. I mentioned grudges earlier. Like, I don't want to be having grudges against people anymore. Like, I'm too old for grudges. Grudges doesn't have anything to do with age, but I feel like, you know, a jadedness and a depression kind of lingers the more we harbor negative feelings. And it's not just negative feelings about ourselves, negative feelings towards other people, like people who've wronged you, traumatized you. Like, I'm not a therapist, but for myself, I mean, I've done a lot of therapy. So by now I'm just like, all right, like, eventually, like, this is just going to be my job. Like, no therapist is going to get in my mind and, like, get into the file folders and, like, do the recycling. Like, I just got to clean out myself. And we have the little badger and sunflower with motivation. And this was in the pile of how to get there. Death and rebirth. Motivation. Regroup. Embodying the Princess of Pop, and having a little mystery. All right, y'all. There was a lot of goodness in here. I hope you are inspired to take action towards your dreams. I know I am. I'm also inspired to dive deep and return to my spiritual practice again and again in new and different ways that feel authentic and fresh to me. And yeah, and I'm excited about ideas I have, silly ideas, big ideas, little ideas. And I'm feeling my faith is a little bit restored with my dreams, goals, aspirations, needs, and desires. I'm feeling like, yeah, I can get there. I can get there one way or another, however long it takes. It's about the journey. It's about the process, not the destination. Destination is death. So, right? That's what's at the end. So it's about the journey, every little step you take, every little pebble you roll on by, until you reach many little goals and many little moments that you can celebrate. But you can celebrate like even the little steps, right? You don't have to wait for a milestone to celebrate. And you don't have to wait for something to be finished or completed to share it or share a little bit of it with the world or with others. Yeah. All right, y'all. Sending love to you wherever you are. And thank you so much for watching. Peace and light.